I used to think those AI assistants, like, what's the point? They just set timers and play music. But whoa, things have changed, what they're doing with AI now. It's kind of freaky, but also super cool.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing how fast things are moving.
Exactly. And that's why we're diving into this Financial Times article.
Yeah.
It's all about how Amazon is trying to, well, basically give Alexa a whole new brain using this, what is it, generative AI.
Yeah, generative AI. It's a pretty big deal. We're talking about transforming Alexa from a simple voice assistant into like a real AI agent.
So not just a software update, huh? This is like a total rebuild.
Exactly. They're basically trying to swap out the engine while the car's still running, if that makes sense.
Okay, I'm getting that. But before we go any further, can we back up for a sec? What exactly is generative AI?
So think of it this way. Traditional AI is good at analyzing data, like recognizing your voice or, figuring out what you want to buy on Amazon.
Right, right.
But generative AI, it's different. It can actually create things. We're talking text, music, images, even code.
So instead of just understanding what I'm saying, this new Alexa could actually, like, write a song for me.
Potentially, yeah. Or compose an email, summarize a complex document, even come up with creative ideas for your next project.
Wow. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. It's like those chatbots I've been hearing about, like ChatGPT.
Precisely. And that's why everyone's jumping on this bandwagon. Microsoft's adding ChatGPT to its search engine, Google's rolling out its own versions, and Meta, well, they're never too far behind.
A full-blown AI arms race.
Got it.
Got it. So back to Amazon. This article says they want to turn Alexa into a real AI agent. What does that even mean? Paint a picture for me.
Imagine you need to book a flight. Instead of just saying, Alexa, book a flight to Hawaii, you could have an actual conversation about your preferences, your budget, the best time to travel. Alexa would take all of that into account and boom, present you with the perfect itinerary.
No more endless searching on those travel websites. I like where this is going.
Right. Or let's say you're trying to cook a new recipe. Alexa could walk you through each step, answer your questions, maybe even adjust the cooking time based on your oven.
Okay, now you're talking my language.
Uh,
But hold on. Isn't there a risk that these generative AI systems could, like, make stuff up? I've heard about these hallucinations.
It's definitely one of the biggest challenges, and it's a big concern for Amazon, especially if they want people to trust Alexa with important tasks.
Yeah, I wouldn't want Alexa booking me a flight to Antarctica by accident.
Right. In the article, Rohit Prasad, who leads Amazon's AGI team, talks about the need for close to zero hallucinations. But that's easier said than done.
Especially when you consider how many requests Alexa handles.
Mhm.
Billions. Right.
Billions every single week. So even a tiny error rate could translate into a lot of unhappy customers.
And probably some pretty bad press for Amazon.
Exactly. They can't afford to get this wrong. User trust is everything.
Okay, so they need to make sure this new Alexa is accurate. What else?
Well, speed is crucial. No one wants to wait 5 minutes for Alexa to turn off the lights.
True. And let's not forget, all the different services Alexa has to integrate with, calendars, banks, all that stuff. Sounds like a logistical nightmare.
It's incredibly complex, and this article doesn't sugarcoat the challenges. They're facing some serious hurdles internally.
Like what? Spill the tea.
Well, for one thing, they're dealing with what's called legacy technology.
Legacy technology. Sounds ominous.
Basically, it means they're trying to build this cutting-edge AI on top of systems that are, well, kind of outdated. Remember, Alexa's original software came from a British startup they acquired back in 2012.
So they're building a Ferrari on a Model T chassis.
Something like that. And then there's the issue of the code base itself. It's apparently become pretty unwieldy over the years, which makes adding new features really difficult.
Oh yeah, I've heard about those software engineering horror stories. Spaghetti code, right?
Exactly. And of course, we can't forget about those massive layoffs Amazon had last year.
Ouch. Yeah. I bet the remaining engineers are feeling the pressure.
Definitely. They're trying to manage this massive undertaking with limited resources, and it's showing.
So it sounds like Amazon's got their work cut out for them. But they're Amazon, right? I'm guessing they're not just going to roll over and let Google or Microsoft win this race.
Yeah.
So they're up against some tough odds.
Yeah.
But hey, it's Amazon. They're not exactly known for giving up easily. What are they doing to catch up?
Well, first off, they're pouring tons of resources into developing their own in-house AI models.
Oh, right. They've got those Nova models, the ones designed to be like super fast and super accurate.
Exactly. And more cost-effective, which is a huge factor when you're talking about billions of requests.
Yeah, that makes sense. But are these Nova models really that different from what other companies are doing?
It's hard to say for sure. The article is a bit vague on the technical specifics, but it sounds like these models represent a significant step forward for Amazon.
Okay, so they're making progress. But they've also got that partnership with Anthropic, right? The one they dropped like $8 billion on.
That's the one. And that partnership could be a real game changer. It gives them access to some of the most cutting edge AI technology out there.
So basically, they're hedging their bets, developing their own stuff while also tapping into the expertise of a leading AI startup. Smart move. But at the end of the day, Amazon is a business. They need to figure out how to actually make money from all of this.
Ah, yes, the $1 million question. How do you monetize a super intelligent AI assistant?
Yeah, how do you, I mean, people aren't used to paying for something like Alexa. It's always been like a freebie that comes with your Echo device.
Right, so they need to find a way to make it valuable enough that people are willing to open their wallets.
So what are some of the ideas being thrown around?
Well, subscription services are one possibility.
Like a premium version of Alexa?
Exactly. You could pay a monthly fee to unlock the most advanced features, like personalized recommendations or priority access to customer service.
I could see that. People are already paying for subscriptions for everything else these days. What else?
Another option is to take a cut of the sales driven by Alexa's recommendations. So imagine you ask Alexa to find you a new pair of running shoes. It suggests a few options based on your preferences and past purchases. You buy a pair through Amazon, and they take a small percentage of the sale.
Okay, that makes sense. But doesn't that raise some concerns about bias? Like, is Alexa recommending the best product for me or the product that's going to make Amazon the most money?
It's a valid concern, and it's
Right.
something Amazon is going to have to address head on if they want to maintain user trust.
Yeah, it feels like a delicate balance. They want Alexa to be helpful and persuasive, but they don't want it to come across as pushy or manipulative.
Exactly. And then there's a whole question of how all of this affects the existing Alexa ecosystem.
Right, all those third-party developers who create those skills for Alexa.
Yeah, those folks are in a bit of a limbo right now. They're excited about the potential of generative AI, but they're also nervous about what it means for their existing skills and businesses.
So it's kind of like the Wild West out there. Nobody's quite sure what the rules are going to be or how to prepare for this new era of Alexa.
It's a lot of uncertainty, and Amazon hasn't been super clear about its plans for supporting these developers.
So we got technical challenges, business uncertainties, and a whole lot of anxiety in the developer community. But ultimately, this all comes down to the user experience, right?
Absolutely. The success of this whole endeavor hinges on whether people actually find this new Alexa useful and enjoyable to interact with.
So let's talk about that. What could this new Alexa experience actually look like? So we're talking about a future where Alexa can really understand our needs and anticipate what we want. That sounds amazing, but honestly, a little creepy too, right?
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a sci-fi vibe to it all. And it does raise some important questions about, how much control we're willing to give up. Do we really want Alexa managing our entire lives?
Right. It's like, how much is too much? I mean, booking a flight or ordering groceries is one thing, but what about like composing emails or making financial decisions?
That's where things get tricky. And that's why it's so important to think about the ethical implications of all of this. It's not just about the technology itself, it's about how we use it.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What are some of the ethical red flags we should be watching out for?
Well, one of the biggest concerns is bias. If these AI models are trained on biased data, then the AI itself could perpetuate those biases.
So, like, if Alexa is mostly trained on data from people who live in cities, it might not understand the needs of people who live in rural areas.
Exactly. And that could lead to all sorts of problems, from getting irrelevant recommendations to, like, being denied access to important services.
That's a scary thought. What else?
Another concern is job displacement. As AI gets more sophisticated, it's going to be able to automate a lot of tasks that are currently done by humans.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that. Truck drivers, factory workers, even like lawyers and accountants.
It's definitely something we need to be thinking about. How do we prepare for a future where AI is doing more and more of the work? What happens to the people who are displaced?
It's like that saying, with great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly. And that responsibility falls on all of us. The tech companies who are developing this technology, the policymakers who are regulating it, and, us, the people who are using it.
So what can we do as individuals, I mean? It feels like we're kind of at the mercy of these big tech companies.
Well, I wouldn't say we're powerless, First off, we need to stay informed, read articles like the one we've been talking about, follow experts in the field, and, just engage in conversations about the ethical implications of AI.
So basically educate ourselves. Got it. What else?
We can also choose which products we use. If we're concerned about a company's privacy practices or their approach to AI ethics, we can take our business elsewhere.
Right. Vote with our wallets.
And we can demand transparency from the companies that are collecting our data. Ask questions, read the fine print, and don't be afraid to push back if you're not comfortable with something.
Good advice. So it sounds like we're at a real turning point. AI is becoming more powerful, more pervasive, and we need to start thinking carefully about how we want to integrate it into our lives.
Absolutely. This is a conversation that's just beginning, and it's one that everyone needs to be a part of.
This deep dive has given you a glimpse behind the scenes at Amazon and what they're doing with Alexa. But as we've been saying, it's just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Generative AI is changing everything.
And it's up to all of us to make sure those changes are for the better.
So keep asking those tough questions, stay curious, and stay engaged. The future is in our hands. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI.